Hey, everybody, welcome to the Jim Masters Show live. It's good to see you once again. This is our second show of the day. Earlier in the day, we had a wonderful guest on the show, Dr. Barbara Milton, dear friend of ours. And she had a wonderful conversation with us, sharing about her caring for her mother who struggled with Alzheimer's. And Barbara wrote this wonderful book, Heeding the Caregiver Call. And if you didn't see that episode, we did it at 3 o'clock today, 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, and it was extraordinary. So 2 episodes of our entertainment lifestyle talk show series for you today. Tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, live on our entertainment lifestyle talk show series, we are welcoming a Hollywood veteran, legendary film and television actress, as well as healer, speaker, and author. You might not know that. The incomparable Dee Wallace is joining us in just a second, live from Los Angeles. It's an honor and a pleasure to have her here. We welcome everybody. If this is your first time joining us here, I'm your host, Jim Masters. We've been doing this show. It's almost a year now, which is hard to believe. About 400 episodes live, 7 days a week. And on some cases, we have 2 episodes a day like today. Tomorrow we have an episode in the afternoon because our guest is Ava, who is one of these singers, Irish singer and songwriters from Celtic Woman. She's going to be joining us tomorrow at 3. So we do shows every single day, and sometimes we do 2 shows a day to accommodate the guests and to accommodate our schedule and the viewers. Now, this show is really cool. We started this about a year ago. It's branched out of my professional work in television and radio and stage, and as a television and radio presenter, personality, host, journalist, actor, writer, producer, voiceover artist, stage MC. And for years, people said, Jim, create a show like this, entertainment lifestyle talk show series. So we turned on the television cameras, built the home studio here. We're in the greater New York area, between New York and Boston, along the southern New England coast. And the rest is history. The viewers come from all around the world. Matter of fact, I say the show is about light, love, and levity. And in the summertime, I said love and levity a little too fast. And out came the word lovity. And ever since I said lovity, the viewers have fallen in love with that word. So we sort of use that word in conjunction with the show, because the show does have a lot of levity with our guests, our viewers. The viewers call themselves the Lovities. They call me Mr. Lovity, and they call this Lovity Hall, and they're part of the Lovity Squad. Not bad, right? The world could use a little more levity. So we're honored to have you here. Of course, we toast everybody in style. It is Saturday night. We welcome you from all around the world. Thanks for joining us here on the Jim Masters Show live entertainment lifestyle talk show series, sort of bringing back the old school lost art of conversation, like you remember with Dick Clark and Dick Cavett and Merv Griffin and Mike Douglas and Johnny Carson and some of the legends. So it's a pleasure to have all of you here, and welcome to the show. Let's check in with some of our Lovities watching all around the world. Well, hello again, Lovities. Welcome to Lovity Hall for another magnificent talk show with Jim Masters. Mr. Lovity, good to see you, Dante. Always a pleasure when you are here. You're watching in San Diego. Merlin is here as well. Hi, Jim and all Lovities. She's watching in Canada, in Ontario. Maureen is here, and they're all saying hello to each other, which we love. Good to see you, Maureen. She's in Arizona. And Gary's watching in Iowa, USA. Hi, Jim and Lovities. You get the picture? Lots of levity here on our show. And Juanita is here. Hello, Jim and Lovity Squad. Juanita is watching in South Africa, which we love as well. Hope you're doing well, Juanita, and you're having a good day there in beautiful South Africa. Mary Bishop is here for show number 2 as well. Again, our second show of the day. Hello, Jim and Lovity friends. And she is in Pine Island, Florida. And Kathy Short, hello, Jim and our Lovity family. I hope you're having and enjoying this wonderful day. We sure are. The weather is beautiful here along the coast. And Kathy is in Cleveland. And she's always here. She never misses an episode of our show, and we love that. Love Celtic Woman, Chris. Lovities, thanks. A great name for your fans, Jim. The Lovities? Absolutely. I agree. Thanks for tuning in. Toasting with lemonade in your glass. Trader Joe's, right? Maureen in Arizona, and Kathleen is here. Hey, Jim. Hi, everyone. Excited to see Dee Wallace. She is here. We just had a wonderful conversation, and I like what you're saying here, Karen Campbell Green in Nova Scotia. Spread the lovity. Absolutely. And Kathleen in New York City is still celebrating her birthday. She's still the birthday girl. So that's really cool. Hope you're having a great birthday weekend. We love having you here. And Wozniak is here. Welcome, Dee. Looking forward to seeing you this evening. Thank you for visiting with us. Ann is in the Jacksonville, Florida area. Maureen says, hello again, Jim. I hope you had a chance to chill for a while and getting something to eat. Glad to be back for show number 2. Hello to my Lovity family. Yeah, we squeezed in a little dinner in between the 2 shows. And Love Celtic Woman Chris B says, hi, Jim, and hi, Dee Wallace. This is going to be a fun show. Dee has done so many amazing roles in so many movies and shows. I agree. And she has a whole other career, too, that you're going to find out about that is very uplifting, too, and empowering. Crystal Nolan's watching in Connecticut. Hi, Jim and everyone. Happy Saturday. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Looking forward to an epic show with inspiring conversation and levity. She's in Connecticut. And Merlin, welcome, Dee, to Lovity Hall. You are now a Lovity. I told Dee all about the whole Lovity thing, and she's in for it. She says, absolutely. She loves the idea. Hi, Jim and all Lovities. Hope all had a great Saturday. Good to have you with us. You're watching in Louisiana. It's Mona. Thanks for joining us as well. And you had a great day. Thanks, Jim. Lots of sun and fun and wine today. That's fantastic. Good to see you in that wonderful South Africa where you are, Juanita. We love it. Hey, we're very excited to welcome our very special guest, Dee Wallace. And of course, she is somebody that is truly an American treasure. The amount of things that she's been in, I could spend about 2 hours talking about it all, and I'm sure you know it, but she's extraordinary. Legendary actress, Dee Wallace. She has one of the most enviable entertainment careers in film, television, movies, which of course includes classics such as E.T., The Extraterrestrial, CUJO, 10, The Howling, The Hills Have Eyes. You may remember we had Suze Lanier Bramlett on our show in the summertime. Currently appearing on Fox series 911, Dee Wallace has earned her 200th movie credit in addition to her TV career with recent productions including Await the Dawn, as well as Critters Attack, Rob Zombie's 3 from Hell, and the family film Renovation of the Heart. She's now the only living actress with 200 movie credits. She's truly a tour de force in the industry, working with countless producers and directors and some Hollywood's biggest names, too, including Steven Spielberg, Peter Jackson, of course, Wes Craven, Joe Dante, Louis Teague, Stephen King, Blake Edwards, Rob Zombie. Her many film credits, as I mentioned, include some of the ones we talked about, including The Frighteners and Secret Admirer, so many others. She's appeared in 5 television series, 400 commercials. Films released in 2019 have included the ones we talked about, Critters Attack and 3 from Hell. And following the footsteps of her daughter, Gabrielle Stone, she's become an award-winning not only actress and director as well. Her first book, scheduled that came out, is a really, really beautiful book we're going to talk about in just a second. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Her daughter is following in her footsteps as well. And the legacy continues in the tradition of the famous mother-daughter legacies. And we're so excited to let you know, too, she's also an international healer, speaker, author, radio show host as well. She focuses on the ideals of self-love, self-responsibility, and self-empowerment. It's so wonderful to have her here on the show, and it's my pleasure to welcome Dee Wallace live and direct from California. Dee, welcome to the Jim Master Show Live.
Thank you. I'm so proud to be a Lovity.
You are a Lovity. Isn't that cool?
I love it. You know, that's what my channel says. All we have to know is love and joy, love and joy, love and joy. That's what creates everything for us. So I'm right in there with you guys. Right in there.
Fantastic. I love that. That is awesome. That's the way it's supposed to be. And you've been really, we'll talk about the illustrious film and television career and more, but you've gone into this other area of healing and spiritual work and really understanding what it is to uplift and empower and inspire people in a very deep way. Tell us about that. When did you realize that this is work that you were meant to do and destined to do, Dee?
You know, the first time I really knew I was destined to do this was in my acting studio. I had one of the largest acting studios out here in Los Angeles for 18 years. And when my husband passed away, Christopher Stone, who I did a lot of movies with, I kind of fell to my knees and I said to God, I don't want to be pissed off and I don't want to be a victim. I want a way we can heal ourselves. And like that, I got my first message, which was use the light within yourself to heal yourself, which I'm still figuring out what all that is. And that was over 30 years ago. So I started channeling information about people in my studio and people that would come in to audit that I didn't know at all. And my students' lives started to change, and then they wanted me to work with their families, and then their families wanted me to work with their friends. And here I am over 30 years later, and I have clients all around the world and a talk show on Sunday mornings. And I just finished my 6th book.
Congratulations. Congratulations. That is amazing. And you and I, we were kidding before we went live on the air, you know, considering the extraordinary body of work, you know, in Hollywood, and now doing the work that you're doing, it's sort of a full circle experience for you, isn't it?
Yeah, we were laughing, everybody, about how the two sides of me and my worlds come together so well, because I spend half of my life doing horror films pretty much, and the other half teaching people how to heal themselves from fear. And the two worlds work together in better than you would ever imagine.
Yeah.
Seriously. I can tell everybody the biggest monster we're running away from is ourself.
Yes, that is so true. With those self-limiting beliefs that we tend to hold on to, and negativity that we either spur on ourselves or that the world spurs on us, and then we absorb it and we don't let it filter through. Absolutely. You know, I was saying to you too that I think as far as you know, what happened here a year ago is that the three energies came together. The divine, Mother Nature, and planet Earth said, hey, you know what? Enough, humans. It's not the animals that are doing anything. It's not the ocean. It's not the sun. It's not the planet. You guys are, you know, you're destroying one another. And we're going to throw in a pandemic. We're going to stop the economy. We'll have civil unrest. We'll have political craziness. And we're going to do it all at the same time in the new decade, and see how you guys relate, come together or not come together, dig yourselves out of it, and maybe rise from the ashes. And I've said multiple times on this show and elsewhere that I hope we come out of this more empathetic, more compassionate, more unified. We listen to one another more. But it really, I think it was a meeting of the minds that said, humans, knock it off, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And you see, if everybody lived in levity, we wouldn't be challenged with all those things. And I mean that in a very serious way.
Yeah.
You can't attack people. You can't degrade people. You can't disrespect people if you personally come from love and joy. It's not possible. And, you know, when people ask me about the pandemic and what the energetic reason was behind it, it's about I have no control.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of us live our lives in the false belief that we have no control, when really we're the ones with all the control to create ourselves and our lives. And when we take responsibility for doing that, then it goes out and all that energy affects the rest of the world too. But you got to start with you, and you got to be responsible for you.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And you really love this work, this new chapter of,
I do.
Yeah, this is something this is a calling for you. It's something that you have to do, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I could do it 24/7 without getting paid for it.
Right.
Not the same with acting. But when I was little, and by the way, all children channel and everybody can channel. I just offered a great webinar on how to channel if anybody's interested. But anybody can do it. All the information is just hanging out right above your heads. And we were taught, go back to fifth grade, everybody. We were taught in fifth grade, everything's energy.
Yes.
Energy's always been here. Energy will always be here. Energy's everywhere and everything, which is kind of the same definition as God. And however, energy must be directed. It will hang around until it gets a direction. So if you're not consciously directing what you want in your life and telling the universe, this is what I want, come create this with me, the energy will remember all those limiting beliefs you put together as a child, all those religious fears that you were taught, society judging itself. So it's incredibly important that you take responsibility for knowing that you're awesome and knowing that you're amazing and knowing that you have the right and the responsibility to tell energy what you want it to be created as. And then the universe and God and the angels and the guides and the force, divine love, whatever your term is for the greater influence of creation, then it can come in and match your direction. And one of the things that I think people don't understand that's so vitally important is I tell everybody, if you keep hitting the same walls in your life that you can't quite knock through, go back to your childhood from conception to 8 years old and see what you were taught. Literally write out what you were taught and what you were modeled, what you saw your parents play out for you.
Right.
Because our brains, the way we see ourselves in the world, and how we see the world seeing us, totally locked into your brain by 8 years old. This is neuroscience.
That's so true. That's right.
And our little kids are running us more than you can ever imagine.
That's very true too. Really is. So you do all kinds of different things in staying connected with people in regards to the healing work and the empowerment work, right? And I think that's fantastic. The book too, is Bright Light the recent one for you? Is that the one that's
Bright Light is the most recent one. The Art of Self-Creating is being shopped right now, so it's not out yet.
Tell us about Bright Light. That is an amazing book.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm really proud of this book. It's actually an autobiography told through all of my great acting experiences with all the great directors that I've worked with and the spiritual lessons that I learned along the way, and how to break out of my own self-limitation.
I like that. That's something that we all tend to deal with over the course of our life, are these self-limiting beliefs, right? We sort of talk ourselves out of things. And sometimes, it does come from hearing other people saying, no, you'll never be able to do that. And no, you shouldn't try that, or no, stay away from that, or don't even think about that. So you have that ingrained in you for years, and you never go about going forward and tasting this and trying this and sampling that. And that becomes very limiting and self-defeating. And like you say, sometimes we really do have to get out of our own way, don't we?
Well, guys, that wasn't your story. That was their story.
Their story, right?
And as long as you keep telling their story, you will keep living the results of that story.
That's right.
So we have to, everybody thinks that thoughts just happen, but thoughts don't just happen. When you're aware enough, you pick the thoughts that you want to think, and you pick the feelings that you want to feel. And those thoughts and feelings literally tell the energy what you want to create for yourself. So, for example, one of the big messages that I got growing up, I come from a very poor family who went to the Methodist Church, very big part of the Methodist Church. And so my grandmother, so many times, and I love my grandma, she raised me, and this is the world she came from. She would look at the wealthy people at our church and go, they're the rich people, Dee Dee, but we're the good people. Mm. Now, cut to 30 years later, and Dee Dee starred in the biggest movie of all time and is getting all these huge financial offers. And the little girl in me went, oh my God, I'm one of them.
One of them now, right?
Mm. And if you're not conscious of that, which is why I wrote Bright Light, if you're not conscious of that, you pull back and you stop yourself, or you don't even move forward in order to create ET in the first place. You know, because subconsciously that little girl in me was going, don't be too big, don't have too much, don't make too much money. And I remember coming home one night from one of my first dance recitals, and it was my first solo, and I had worked so hard. And I was sitting in the back seat and thinking about it, and I just blurted out, oh, Mommy, I was good. I was really good. And my aunt was in the passenger seat, and she turned around to me with one of those pointy fingers that they had, you know. And she said, Deanna Bowers, don't you ever say you're good. And if somebody else says you're good, you say, no, I'm not. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, guys, how can we live our powerful lives and know how precious and awesome and amazing we are if we keep listening and retelling those stories?
That's right.
You gotta float your own boat, baby.
You gotta, exactly right, and row it oftentimes too.
That's right.
So then how were you, let's talk a little bit about those earlier years, and how were you able to sort of transition from that sort of atmosphere to Hollywood, USA, and these opportunities? When did you realize, I think I'm going to, you know, leave the home and hearth, and I'm going to, you know, branch out and sort of see what happens with my life, and I'm going to embark on this acting career and see where it takes me? It doesn't necessarily follow the path that the family is setting up, but this is what Dee wants to do and Dee wants to experience. How did you do that? How did you get there?
Well, you see, again, this is the dichotomy of my life. So my dad was a severe alcoholic who ultimately committed suicide when I was a junior in high school. And so I was living with that, and I was living with the religious limiting messages from my family. But on the other hand, I was living with a mother who was a dynamic actress in her own right in local theater in Kansas City. I would watch how my mother affected people and moved people. And I remember sitting in church when she did this, what we would call a monologue today, right? And it was a 30-minute monologue on the crucifixion. And people from 4 states would come to hear my mother do these readings. And I looked around, and grown men and women were weeping. And I was about 8 years old, I think. And I thought, oh, I want to do this. I want to move my mom like my mommy is moving people. And we would sit and watch a show called The Hit Parade, right? And my mom and dad would say, you can do that, Dee Dee. You can be anything you want. So I had these dichotomies and these opposite messages going on within my life, which I guarantee you do too. But I had enough of you can do that, and watching my mother do that when it came, I have to say, I graduated from KU. I got my degree. I taught a year of school. And then I said to myself, if I don't get out of here, I'm never getting out of here. And this is a great story. In the library at the high school that I taught at, we got the New York Times. And in the New York Times, there was an article with Hal Prince, who at the time was the biggest producer on Broadway.
Yeah.
And it was all about how he wanted to find an unknown to star in a little night music. So I wrote him, oh, I wish I had a copy of it, the cheesiest letter. I mean, it was cheesy, Jim. And I had my brother's friend, who was the photographer for the school newspaper, come over and take a headshot of me like this. Oh my God. And I sent it.
Yeah.
This is naivete, you see. I'm a big believer in naivete, by the way.
Yes.
And I sent it, and 3 weeks later, his assistant called and said, well, Mr. Prince wants to fly you to New York. And I said, oh, what day does he need me there? And she told me, he went, oh, I can save him a lot of money. I'm arriving that day at noon. And she said, well, we don't need to see you till 5, but wouldn't you like to come in a little early? Oh, no, I don't want to waste his money. So that's the way I was raised, right? So the day I arrived in New York, I took everything I had, put it in a taxi, said, here, can you take it to this address? Everything got there. And I went to Rockefeller Center, made it down to the last 5 girls in the acting and the dancing. And then they said, okay, Mr. Prince would like you to sing now. And I went, oh, I didn't know we had to sing. And his assistant said, well, dear, it is a musical.
It's a musical.
So the accompanist says to me, what key, honey? And I said, somewhere in the middle. And Hal Prince had me sing Happy Birthday for him. And that was my first day in New York. I met all these great gypsies that taught me all this stuff about who to go and where to start studying singing with, and who to study. I knew I wanted to study with Uta Hagen. I knew that already. But anyway, that was my first day in naivete in New York, because I just went, I'm going to go to New York and be an actress. And nobody told me I couldn't.
See, that's the thing, right? And you didn't tell yourself you couldn't either, which was key, right?
That's right. I said, I can always be a teacher. Right. And I've always been a teacher. I'm a great teacher. I've had my own dance studio. I've had my own acting studio. I teach every day that I teach my healing work. I love teaching. I love seeing people wake up.
Yeah.
you know,
That
and
aha moment. You can see it in
yeah,
their eyes. Yeah.
see how powerful they are and how much they love doing what they want to do. You know, there's nothing better.
Because you
It's
have
just
to.
you doing what you want to do.
Right, exactly. And it's a blessing to be able to do what you love and to share it with the world. And to sometimes people, they extinguish the flame that's within because of life experiences and the self-limiting beliefs. And it's so beautiful when you're able to guide somebody to look within, because a lot of the answers, if not all, really do come from within, right?
Everything. You are the center of your universe. And when you shift into empowering yourself and loving yourself and being joyful about who you are, and this is again neuroscience,
That's right.
once you shift within you, all frequencies around you have to shift and react to the new frequencies. And that's what they mean when you read a lot of this spiritual woo-woo stuff and they say, oh, it's life-changing and things just start falling into your life. Well, it's true. They do. Like you want to come to New York and audition for Hal Prince, you know, and my second day there, I went to get some coffee and this guy came up to me and he said, you're new here, aren't you? And I went, my God, does it show that? And he spent 2 hours with me, just out of the kindness of his heart, teaching me how to use the subways, how to use the buses, hooked me up with an answering service, which we
Mhm.
used to use back in the older
Right,
days.
exactly.
You know, I mean, met a guy at an audition. He took me to a party on Halloween. His agents were some of the biggest commercial agents in New York. And they said at the end of the party, you know, can you come see us on Monday? We think we'd like to work with you. And I went, okay, what do you do? Right. So I went in and they signed me. And 4 weeks later, whatever it was, I booked my first national commercial for United Airlines. I'm going to show you what I did.
Oh, yes.
That's it. And I made $20,000,
Wow.
which is more than I think I ever knew my parents made in a year.
And the stock for United Airlines went through the roof that year, I'm sure. With that
Well,
smile? Are you kidding?
I I did a lot of commercials. I was kind of the commercial queen back then. Yeah.
Yes. What are some other commercials people may remember that you did over the years? I know
Oh
you've
my
done
gosh.
so many of them.
Hundreds. I've done hundreds of commercials. Folgers coffee,
Yes.
some toothpaste commercial. Oh, Tom McCann shoes was one of my favorites. Do you remember Tom McCann shoes?
Tom McCann and Stride Right and Buster Brown. Remember all
Yeah,
those?
yeah. Boy, we're aging ourselves, dude. But I went in and there's just, when I read the copy, and this is what I mean by channeling. I've channeled in my acting, which is the only way I act is through channeling. And then when I really started channeling, I went, oh my God, I've been doing this all my life and didn't know it in my acting. But it was this very straight copy, but in my mind, I kept hearing it as this character, you know, and Tom McCann shoes, and he bought the Tom McCann shoes, and so yeah, I married him and I got it. And they said to me when I went to shoot it, they said, I don't know where that came from. It was so different than what everybody else did. We actually thought we had somebody already booked for it, but when we saw that, it was like, holy heck, who knew? Who knew that was in there, right? And I think that if there's anything that stands out in my work, it's that authenticity and truthfulness, that it's just always hooked in something. you know.
Absolutely right. Absolutely. Other than the Hal Prince situation and the commercials, what would you say while being in New York was another big break for you there in the city?
Well, two. One was the Milliken Show. The
Oh,
Milliken Show was the biggest multi-million industrial show that you could do. And I
yeah.
remember walking down to that open call in my little white dress that I'd gotten for Easter. Now, you have to understand, in Kansas, we were about 4 or 5 years behind everybody else fashion. So I was still wearing mini skirts. And I couldn't understand why I was walking down to the theater and everybody going, "Hey, baby, hey, baby," right? And I got in there and I got dressed for the audition. And of course, in Kansas, when you go to a dance audition, you wear your little pink tights and your little black leotard and your ballet shoes. Yeah, not so much in New York. Fishnets, heels, high cut. I looked like, I can't imagine what they thought, but I got it.
But you got it.
And, again, I thought I had died and gone to heaven. I was making so much money a week, especially for a dancer. And we got to keep all our clothes because
Wow.
it was from Milliken fabrics. So
Yeah.
every time you came on the stage, you had another outfit on. My God, I just thought there's not going to be anything ever better than this. And then the other thing was I used my dance to make a living while I was getting started. And I booked the Oldsmobile show, which it was like a bus and truck. And we traveled the country and ended up in LA. I can still show you. Hold on. Tie a yellow ribbon round the Oldsmobile. Don't ask me why I remember that. But I ended up in LA and there was a friend of mine and I said, "Do you think I could stay with you a couple of weeks?" And she said, "Sure." And I called a guy that had been in my acting class and he had just signed with Brett Adams. And he said, "Look, I'll get you in to see Brett Adams if you'll get me in to see your commercial agent." And we both did, and we both got signed. And however, the very first film job I had out here, it was impossible to get on the lots to meet all the casting directors.
Oh, sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So I did what any good Midwestern girl is taught to do. I baked cookies. I baked masses of chocolate chip cookies. I bet it would still work today if you wanted to try it.
Oh,
and I
yeah.
wrapped them in cellophane and put little bows on them and put them in the back seat. And I drove up to the guard and I said, "Yeah, I've got deliveries." He said, "Okay, go on through." So I was delivering them to all the casting directors. And at the end was Reuben Cannon, who was head of casting at Universal. And he came out and he went, "Oh, chocolate chip cookies, my favorite. Come on in, talk to me for a few minutes." While I was in there, they called from the set of Lucas Tanner. And the girl who had 5 lines, who was supposed to play the waitress, was sick. And they were literally, that was the first shot up. What should they do?
Right.
And he covered the phone and he looked at me and he said, "What size do you wear?" I said, "What size do you need, baby? I'll get into it."
That's
He said, "Can you fit into a 4?" I said, "Sure." I was actually a 6. But, and that was that's what I mean. When you decide you're going to do something and you really commit,
right.
the universe just plays wonderful games with working with you and bringing you stuff. I promise you. I teach this and live this every day.
So you just got to really stick with it, even when it doesn't seem like anything is moving or going anywhere, or you're not making progress. If you love it and you believe in it, stick with it.
Stick with it and commit to it. And then I tell people, look, sit down and write out. I'm a big believer in lists. Write out everything you were taught about being able to do anything you wanted to do, about how powerful you were, about how special you were, about how much you could create for yourself. You'll be surprised, even the most loving families, they were never taught that. So how could they teach us? Now it's time that we teach us, and we teach our little people inside that we're going to take care of them now.
That's beautifully said. And you've been able to call on all of that throughout your career, haven't you? You've understood this. You really understand the human condition.
Well, I understand it. I always knew it.
Yeah.
But I understand it now that I'm teaching it and channeling it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I have a fantastic laugh.
Yeah, you got a fantastic. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, they're all commenting. Yeah. Yeah.
It's called Levity.
Somebody said they want to know what your beauty secret too is, because you look amazing.
Oh, thank you. Well, I have good lighting. But I attribute it a lot to my healing work. I really do, because the more trauma, the more fear,
the
more self-dislike you let go of, your energy just raises.
It's liberating, isn't it?
It's freedom, guys. It's freedom. And I also get up every day back to the direction of energy and say, I am aging younger and younger. And sometimes people even actually say, my God, Dee, do you have a picture? You look like you're aging younger. And I go, and there's the universe answering my direction, right?
Exactly.
So I just know unconditionally how powerful what I teach is, and how life-changing it is. And this is what you do too, Jim. When you know that stuff, you got to share it. You've got to share it.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, you're compelled to, you want to, and it's a beautiful thing. Absolutely. And we're blessed to be able to do work that we love and that inspires and lifts other people through our talent and experience as well, and wit and wisdom. And I think that's a beautiful thing to realize and count the continued blessings and joys in our lives, right?
You absolutely. And I just want to quickly say, it's not about what you do, guys. It's about who you are.
Exactly right.
The channel often says to me, it doesn't matter if you're Gandhi or the president of a country or the little grandmother that lives on your block that bakes cookies for all the kids. Your essence and who you are is what affects the world. So just love yourself. That's my biggest message. Just love yourself. You don't have to have a reason, guys.
Right.
You don't have to have a reason.
Somebody that you loved and still love through the years is this character. E.T. Now, tell us about how this all came together for you. I mean, Steven Spielberg, prolific producer, director, E.T. Of course, people will remember you from this legendary movie and so much more. But how did this opportunity come your way?
Well, again, back to the universe working with you.
Yes.
Right? So Steven had seen me in The Howling in 10, and he called me into audition for his other film called Used Cars.
Mm-hmm.
But Steven works very far ahead.
Yes.
And so he already was working on E.T. And when he saw me, he went, oh, she has, because he wanted everybody in E.T. to be like a little kid
Right.
until the bad doctors came in. And when he saw me, he said, oh, she's got the innocence and the vulnerability, which I do, of
Yes.
a little kid. She's who I'm going to say for Mary. So when he was ready to do E.T., believe it or not, they just called and offered it to me.
Mm. And what was that experience like on that set? Did you and the cast have any understanding as you're performing your task, doing your work, what this movie would turn out to be in terms of legacy and revered and beloved all these years later still?
No, you never know.
You don't know, yeah.
No, you never know. So many things have to come together when it's released, the music, how it's edited. Is the audience ready for it, for the message at that time?
Yeah.
So many things have to come together.
Mhm.
And I don't think anybody ever goes into a creative endeavor going, all right, I'm going to make a blockbuster or I'm
Right.
going to make a masterpiece. Artists go into an endeavor saying, I have to tell a truth, right? My job in everything I do, from E.T. to 10 to the horror films, is how truthful can I be? How authentic can I be to this character? And then I get out of the way and I use my technique that was taught to me by my mentor, Charles Conrad. And I let whatever that character is, Mary, do what she needs to do. So I don't really have to worry about my choices.
Right.
For example, in the big dinner table scene,
Yeah.
when he says, my husband's in Sally with Mexico. Now, Stephen used to love to whisper to the kids, say this line and say that line. And so all of us kind of, and I love working that way because it's in the moment. I love it. And when he said he's in Mexico with Sally, what happened to Mary was I could feel the tears coming up, and I thought, I don't want the kids to see me cry. So I got up and left. Stephen comes over to me and says, Dee, why did you leave? Why did you get? And I explained to him what was going on within Mary. And in that moment, he brought in his stage crew. They built a whole wall with a sink with running water that I could take my dishes over to and put them in the sink and turn around into that big close-up where I say he hates Mexico. And all that happened like that because I trusted Mary and Stephen trusted me. And that's when you find the really magical moments on a set, is where everybody has that freedom to follow the truth.
Right. Right. Which is positively beautiful when you do that. And you're doing it authentically. And I want to show this too. This goes back a little bit here.
Oh, yes, all my little monsters.
Yes. This is critters, right? Yeah.
Yes, critters and my Scott. I actually loved working with Scott and thought he was so good and so natural that I went on to do a series after this called Together We Stand,
Mm-hmm.
and asked them to bring him in to audition, and he got the part. And so we did the series together then.
That is fantastic. I've got another cool shot here.
Oh dear.
Talk about versatility, right?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's one of my prettier parts, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love it. Rob called me and he said, Dee, you just got to hear this story. He said, I just had a critic call me and go, look, I'm reviewing the movie Three from Hell, and I really love this movie, but I need to know, did you cut Dee Wallace out of the movie? Because I see her name, but I don't see her anywhere in the movie. And I thought, now that is the biggest compliment you can give an actress. When he sent me this part, I went, Rob, I want to do it, but I can't look like me.
Yeah.
I can't look like me.
Yeah.
I got to dye my hair. Could I have some big, ugly glasses? Right? No makeup. I don't want any makeup. And yeah, I just actually finished another part where I look like living hell, but I think it's one of the best performances I've turned in yeah, a long time. It's called The Knicks.
Oh, yes. Also another incredible performance, Stephen King's CUJO. There's another
Oh
one
yeah,
that's
CUJO's
you.
my favorite film.
You and I know that Stephen King has been quoted and just saying so many times that an epic performance by you. You give you do in everything you do, but 150%. Really, you get so into what happens. What do you get transported when you're taking on a character? There's still the essence of Dee and who Dee is, the performer, but then you're absorbing the life of the character and you become, you know, um, you morph into the character, but you still don't lose the essence of who Dee is, which is an unusual and a beautiful thing to be able to master. You really are all in, aren't you, Dee?
All in. I don't have a choice. I really don't have a choice. Like I said, my intention is to get out of the way.
Yeah.
And in this case, allow Donna to live every moment as truthfully as she could live it. And it for sure was the hardest thing I've ever done in my career. A lot of people don't understand that your brain and your energetic system do not realize that you are acting.
Right.
They go through the same chemical reactions as if you are really in fight or flight for 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So at the end of that movie, I was treated for exhaustion for 3 weeks, still on adrenal supplements because I blew out my adrenals. But I have a story that really does exemplify exactly what you were talking about. When the scene where I have to break the glass to get Tad out of the car, and we had walked through the whole thing, and I knew I was going to go in and pick him up and going to run up to the house. We often rehearsed the whole entire scene so we wouldn't get locked into any surprises. So Lewis, our wonderful director, said to me, Dee, we're going to do this in slow motion, and I really, really, really need you to hit the window, really hit it hard. You can't break it. Third try, I broke it. So I didn't hear cut. And this is what happens. So one part of my brain is going, get the kid, the dog's coming, you've got to get the kid. And the other part is going, oh my God, there's glass all over now. You can't drag him out. Get the kid, you've got to get the kid out. Okay, pick him up. You can pick him up, right? So I do that stupid waddle and get up. I still don't hear cut. And Don is going, take him to the door, get him in the house. You've got to get him in the house, right? And so I just keep going, and finally get up to the door, and I hear cut, right? And Dan Blatt, our beautiful producer, I love Dan so much, comes up to me, he says, "Oh my God, Dee, are you okay? Are you okay?" Well, I had slit my arm. I didn't know I was bleeding, or, and I looked at him and went, "Oh my God." And he said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I think I'm okay. I mean, it's not splurting or anything, right?" He said, "Oh, good. Can you do one more scene before we
do one more, right.
One more take?"
You got to get that right. Just one more.
No, because everybody, when I broke the glass, went, "Shit." And they just froze.
Yeah.
Right? They just froze. And so we didn't have instant playbacks. And
right.
And so
that was it. Yeah.
We went back and took it from where I get in the car and pick him up and run up. But we ended up using the first take.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you, Jan de Bond, that you didn't stop the camera and lose me, right? Because a lot of people would have gone, "Oh my God," right? So that whole shoot was a labor of love for so many of us.
Unbelievable.
And the film I'm proudest of my work in.
It's fantastic. Absolutely. And again, the breadth and scope of your work, television shows, commercials, films galore. And then there's The Hills Have Eyes. Now, we just had Suze Lanier Bramlett on. Suze Lanier Bramlett was just on a few months ago. And yeah, she loves you. She said that very much and very often on the show. What was it like to be a part of this? I remember seeing it. I actually remember seeing it when HBO was doing like a weekend preview, like when they were previewing what you could watch on HBO, and then you could subscribe. It was either HBO or Showtime, and you could subscribe and include that in your cable package. And one of the movies that they showed was The Hills Have Eyes, Wes Craven's masterpiece.
Wow.
Boy, did that scare the heck out of us.
Yeah, it was. What an experience. I mean, I've got stories from but okay. We were all so happy just to have a job. Look at, my God, I look like a baby.
You look the same. You look the same.
Oh my God, I love you so much.
You look the same.
But it was like, we'll do anything. This is a starring part in a movie, right?
That's right.
So they shot in the Mojave Desert, which was a very long drive from LA. And ultimately, I ended up just taking a lot of my salary, actually, and getting me a Motel 6, because it became too dangerous to drive back and forth after working 12, 14-hour nights.
Yeah.
And then to drive back again.
And was it cold? Was it very cold?
Oh my God, it was so cold at night.
Suze said it was so freezing.
Hot.
Yeah.
Freezing at night. So hot during the day.
Yeah.
And all the actors stayed in one motorhome. And I remember the night fondly, or not so fondly, when the bathroom broke. The toilet broke, and so I spent a lot of time in my car. For sure, I did. But again, it was your first gig. Actually, it was my second.
Right.
Film. My first film was a religious film called oh my gosh, what was it called? All the King's Horses, that I did with Grant Goodeve. Remember Grant from Eight is
Enough with Betty Buckley, and Mm-hmm.
And I remember I became good friends with the director, and I really needed an agent to rep me. And Don Thompson, bless his heart, said, Dee, I'll bring the reels out. You get some agents together. I'll bring the reels out. We'll show it at a small little screening room. So I went to CBS screening, and everybody said, are you kidding me? They will laugh you out of that room. You can't ask an agent in LA to watch a religious film. I said, look, I do some really good work in this. And if they can't see my work, no matter what kind of film it is, I don't want them to rep me anyway. So I called 10 agents. They all showed up, and 9 of them wanted to rep me. So that's what I mean, guys.
Yeah, that's
fantastic.
fantastic.
Your own way. Somebody gives you a limitation, you go, thanks for sharing, but I'm doing it this way. Down to having my kid. 6 specialists in LA told me I'd never get pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, God and I have a different plan.
Exactly.
It took me 6 years, but she's my best friend. She's 32 now. And her book, Jim, is number 27 now. Oh, look at that! Oh,
we do our research. We do our research.
Oh, dumb Bubba.
Yeah, huh?
Yeah. Oh,
That's beautiful.
Love that you have that picture.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, it took me 6 years, but she is my best production.
Love of your life. Yeah.
And her book, Eat, Pray, #FML, is helping so many people repair their lives now from relationships where they've been hurt or abused or disrespected.
Yeah.
In a very millennial way, she's carrying on some of my work. So I know. That was at her book signing party.
You look like twins.
Yeah, I love you.
Wow, huh? You can see the pride and joy in your face there and here on the show. You can see, you can see the pride. Yeah. I've always said my parents are my executive producers, and that's basically what it is. And you've worked on projects together too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've appeared, I think, in 3 films together. She directed, during COVID, I said, you know what? I want to make a short horror film just as a gift to my fans.
Yes.
And so I called Gabrielle. She called a friend of hers. They sat down and wrote the script, I said, I want it to be a takeoff on It's Safer to Stay Home.
Yes.
COVID, right? And it's called Stay Home. Her book signing party.
That's great. She's tall too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she's got those pumps on too. And I'm middle. I got flats on. But God, now I don't know. See, you show me these pictures and then my brain goes a different way.
It was really.
I don't know what story.
You're talking about the projects that you guys are working on together.
Yeah. And so a bunch of my horror buddies and I got together. We each did it in our own homes, COVID compliant. She directed it over Zoom. We did it with little GoPro cameras.
Yeah.
And it's really good, you guys. Look it up on YouTube. Stay Home. It's really good.
We will definitely look for that. They're all saying beautiful picture.
Yeah, that was my baby Gabrielle.
Cute, beautiful daughter. Is that baby Gabrielle? Yeah. What? And again, that's I think the 4th one. What is your secret to looking so ageless?
Oh, I love you.
You're a
being
happy person. You're
happy.
blessed, right?
I worked at it. I wasn't always.
Right.
I wasn't always.
Right.
But I do believe sincerely that we are all born with this innate willingness to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
And we just are given so many beliefs growing up around why we can't be happy, or we shouldn't be happy, or we don't have the right to be happy. And I'm telling you, whatever has happened in your life to you, it is not worth owning the belief that that's in your way of your happiness. You're the only thing that's in the way of your happiness now.
That
So
is,
when you truly know that, your life changes. I promise you. I'm having a big deja vu of this right now. This is so weird. When you started reading off all the things that, all the texts that were, I said, oh my God, I've been here in this moment before. Yeah, welcome to my life. See, I knew I was going to say that. This is weird. Okay,
so
I'm sending it back to you.
we are kindred spirits. There's a connection. I'm a Libra, so I'm all about balance and harmony. So I'm not an extreme person. I'm always looking for ways to speak to the extremes and to sort of bring us all together, find a unifying way to lift people up. And I'm usually the person when there's chaos, when I walk into a TV studio, whatever it is, and everybody's all, the place is on fire, and I come in and their blood pressure goes down, and I use levity, and I looking for ways to sort of soothe and provide solace and comfort. But I've had to learn too. I had to learn that, and it was when I drove alone through Death Valley. Speaking about deserts, I was on a TV shoot just west of Las Vegas, and the shoot wrapped, and we had some downtime, and the crew went back to Los Angeles, and I was to fly back east, and I had some time to kill. So I took the rental car, which is driving around this town in Nevada called Pahrump, Nevada, which I've never, Pahrump,
Sure.
Pahrump, I've never, you're Pahrump, Nevada. We are Pahrump. And I kept seeing the signs for Death Valley, and I'm just like, oh my God, Death Valley. It's like right here. And there it is. It's like this road that goes on forever. And without telling anybody, without any preparations, without any, in a rental car, I didn't have the charged cell phones. I didn't have all the food, the supplies. I did not have the, other person in the car that you're supposed to have and all of that. I just took that. Something pushed me in to take that car in to Death Valley, and I started driving in. And at first I'm like, what are you doing? And, nobody knows you're doing this, and there's no family in the area, and you're just going in, and you got a flight the next morning back east. But some energy like pushed me into Death Valley. And, because when I was a kid, death was never like the most exciting topic. And I was always like, oh, death. And my mother would watch Medical Center, and I'd be down the hall in my bedroom, and I'd hear the, beating heartbeat and the screaming ambulance. So I'm like, Ma, turn that down. But she liked Chet Everett.
So did I.
Yeah. So, death was always something that I've dealt with losses and all, but it wasn't something that, was front and center. So here I am in Death Valley, and I'm driving in, and all of a sudden I feel guilty. I feel tremendous guilt. And I knew what the guilt was because I had felt the guilt before many times. And that is when I'm experiencing something that is extraordinary. Now, of course, we put places like the Grand Canyon and Death Valley and Yosemite and other, the Acropolis in Greece, whatever, on pedestals. These are epic places. So here I am alone in this rental car, unannounced, in August, where it's already 110 degrees in Las Vegas proper. And now here I'm going into Death Valley, and I'm not telling anybody. And I felt this push to go in. And as I'm driving the first 15, 20 minutes, I felt extreme guilt for doing it. And the guilt was, and I've shared this before, but the guilt was that I was not sharing this epic, monumental experience with loved ones and friends. So it was like, this is such a big thing that I'm doing here. It's total risk. Nobody knows I'm doing it. I'm driving a rental car. It could explode. Who knows what can happen? But I'm going into Death Valley alone, and I haven't told anybody. But yet it's so beautiful, so breathtaking, so risky, so everything, so monumental. I think I'll turn the car back, go to the hotel, wait for the flight in the morning, and then fly back east. And then I felt these three energies, like I mentioned to you before, as far as those three energies that I think gave us the pandemic and all the other stuff we dealt with this year. And I felt like this strong energy of a divine, the earth, and Mother Nature coming together and saying, okay, Jim, if you want, you can turn that car back. Sure, go ahead. You can turn the car back. And maybe one day you'll come back here and then you'll have the loved ones and the friends with you and you can experience it together. Because I tend to be communal. I like to be around people and hear their humor and their oohs and ahs. And I like to be the person that sort of facilitates that, gives people joy, takes them to Death Valley, and they're giggling in the car and they're like, oh my God, look at that. Wow, look at that. And I'm the driver and I'm taking them in and they're experiencing that, but we're experiencing it together, the richness of this together.
Yeah.
This was totally singular. There was no together with this. So as I'm driving in, I felt this guilt, but I felt those three energies come to me and say, look, you got a choice. You can turn the car back. And like you say, maybe one day you'll come back here. But how do you know if you're ever going to come back here to Death Valley? You don't know that. So you have two choices: go back to the hotel or keep going. So I chose to keep going. And as I went, it was one of the most, and it was only about a year and a half ago. So it's still fresh. People say you should write a book on it and everything. I've shared it limited with people. They said, what you were experiencing, this liberation of feeling a lift as you decided to keep going, that you didn't have to have loved ones and friends and other people in the car to experience the gift that you're being given. You're being given to go into Death Valley in a risky situation, unannounced, in a rental car with no supplies or anything else, in August in Nevada, and all the elements of a movie you'd be in.
Yeah, probably.
I was hoping I was going to see you in there somewhere filming. It was a gift that you were being given, because as I decided to go deeper in with this rental car, this weight of guilt was truly lifting. And it was a self-imposed guilt that I was not experiencing this monumental place with loved ones and friends. Almost like I'd rather wait till I can have the loved ones and friends in the car and enjoy the richness of their oohs and ahs to really feel it even deeper. Like I put so much stock in the oohs and ahs that I give everybody else that it wasn't worthy for me to experience that in a singular fashion. But those three energies said, well, you can do that. You've done it many times before that way, or you can keep going and make this yours. So I've been told by many people, they said what it was too, you were met with self. You were totally reliant on self. You were met with self. If somebody took a picture, the only thing they would see would be you in that rental car. There was nobody else there other than the energy that you were feeling. So as I was driving in, it became exciting and it became liberating that I wasn't doing it in a communal way for it to be always as rich, like Christmas Day, communal, love, family. Every sense is being touched upon on Christmas Day. God, love, gifts, colors, lights, music, food, childhood memories, relatives, family, the whole thing, the whole world on Christmas Day is like this magical day, and communal. So this wasn't communal. So there was this liberation, this lift of, well, you know what? There'll be times when there's going to be experiences that are yours that aren't meant to be shared, don't have to be shared. That was meant for you. That was a gift for you. So I drove all the way through and then all the way back, and I had to get back to Pahrump and then get back to Vegas for the flight leaving. And people say, well, what did you experience driving alone? First of all, were you crazy to drive alone through Death Valley in August in a rental car without telling anybody and no supplies and no charge cell phones and all? And I said, well, there were three major things that came out of it. And one was the liberation of realizing that I don't always have to have people in the car with me for me to experience the depth and richness of that gift that's presented, that experience that I was experiencing of looking at incredible Death Valley before my eyes. The second thing was that that you have to, when I'm on an airplane, and I'd say about 10% of me still goes, I don't know about this. When the flight attendant says, if you need oxygen, the mask drops, put it on yourself first. And I've always been of the upbringing and of the ilk, help thy fellow man. So if the masks drop, I'm going to want to help he or she with their mask next to me first, then do me. So now I've realized that in order to have the oxygen to do that for them, I have to have the oxygen mask on me. It's not selfish. It's not greedy. It's not egotistical. You have to have the air and the breath to be, and the energy to be able to continue to help people like you want to do. And then the third thing was that the world is going to continue to spin on its axis, whether I rescue it all the time or not. If I run to put out everybody else's fires, but I have some tinders over here that are flaming, put some water on that first, then run like you're going to do to other people and help them and do what you normally would do. And the world, whether you do it or not, is going to continue spinning on its axis, whether you rescue it all the time or not. So those are three major things that came out of driving alone in this situation of Death Valley, depending just on myself for all the senses and the enjoyment and the experience. And then people will say to me, well, what do you think that was? And I don't know. And they said, well, it was a gift. And I said, well, why didn't it happen when I was 20? Why didn't it happen maybe when I was 30 or what have you? They said, you wouldn't have been ready. You wouldn't have acknowledged it. You might have shunned it. You might have not ever have noticed it. You had to live life and live you and your experiences, being that caretaker type person and what have you, and creative and communal. You had to live all that to then have this experience where it was just you and be met with that, see if you like that, and then realize that that's an aspect of your life that's very important, that should be front and center. And that was a beautiful experience. And again, every time I was taking the rental car around Pahrump, looking at the visual, beauty of the area, the car kept taking me to the entrance of Death Valley. And I don't know why, but now I do.
Which is?
Which is that it was a gift. I took the gift. I was met with self. That again, I have to put that oxygen mask on me and then continue to help others. That it's okay to have experiences where sometimes I'm going to be the only person in the room and there's nobody else there to share it with or to, gift it to, and to experience it fully and cherish and savor it. And that the world will continue spinning, whether I'm rescuing it all the time or not.
Actually, it will continue spinning in a much more powerful way. If we all would address ourselves first, not in an egotistical way.
Right.
But in a self-empowerment and self-loving way. If we all really loved who we were, the world would be so much happier.
Right. Exactly right. I mean, because I've always loved being in a movie theater and you're watching the Titanic sink, and for that split second, we're all feeling the same emotion at the same time. The power of that. But this was a situation where it was just myself experiencing it, and I had the opportunity to turn that car back, but the divine Mother Nature and the earth. And I literally felt the pull of the earth because it was desert, as you've experienced desert.
Yeah.
You feel raw earth. So the ocean is my Zen place. Living here on the coast, on the East Coast, the ocean is the Zen place. The ocean I love: swim, surf, boogie board, sunsets. The ocean is bigger than me. It's more powerful than me, like the desert, and I have a respect for it. And as long as I respect it, it will respect me, the ocean. So I don't fool around with the ocean, but I love the ocean and I appreciate the ocean. It couldn't have been the ocean. It couldn't have been a forest. It couldn't have been, New York City or a skyline or any of that. It had to be stripped raw earth for me, with nobody else around, for me to really absorb those things. There was nothing else that could pull me away from me, to help, to guide, to make smile or anything else. It was just me, and the desert, which really was a very, very cool experience. Very, very cool experience.
Well,
And
yeah, you met you.
Life changing.
You met you
Exactly.
in the most powerful way you can meet you.
And I would not be honest if I didn't say that there's a few people that fell off the earth as a result. People who, a couple people here and there that just like, they were really only on the scene because I was always saving them and rescuing them. And, because
we can't.
Right.
That was one of the great things you probably learned is you can't save or rescue other people. You can support them.
Right.
In their own movement forward, but everyone is given free will.
And it's brought in, what it has done is attracted this whole other extraordinary energy. When I came back from that TV shoot, I couldn't tell you, it wasn't anything that I thought I did, but ever since, I mean, it's always been the case, but it's like quadrupled. People want me at every party. People want me to work with them. People want to collaborate. People want me near and present constantly. The phone's ringing and people are coming up with ideas, and it's there's an energy or something that they're getting from that experience that is quite amazing to me.
You trusted the universe.
Right.
You trusted the universe, and then ultimately you trusted yourself. And that's really the end all and be all. When we trust ourselves in the universe, manifestation happens. When we live in fear and wonder and worry and not knowing, we don't manifest. And we don't know, and our hearts can't ever be clear because we've closed them to protect ourselves. Instead of going, okay, desert, take me. Right. Let me know what you want me to know.
Right.
I'm in trust.
That's exactly, you put that beautifully. That's exactly what it was. When I felt that energy of a divine, of the earth, the raw earth, and of nature being around me, I felt that all three of those energies are far greater than I am, and they could, if they wanted to, wipe me out in a split second. However, they gave me an opportunity to say, look, we're not going to hold your hand. We're not going to drive the car, but we're going to give you the understanding that we are here guiding you along. Yeah, you got to drive the car. You got to keep going forward down that long, lonely road in Death Valley, but know that we are here. And I literally felt the pull of the earth, that we were on a planet. I felt nature around, and I felt this guided, divine-like sense that was there, comforting along the way, saying, this is going to be on you. This whole thing is you.
Everything's you.
But know that we sort of got you back a little bit here too, which was really beautiful.
It goes back to ask and you receive. But most people don't understand that ask in the original Hebrew is claim or demand. So by moving into and making the decision that you are going to continue in the desert, you claimed and demanded that things opened up for you and the truth opened up for you, and so they did. But most of us are saying to the universe, show me first. Show me I can trust you. Show me that everything's going to be okay. And the universe is saying to us, you know it, and then we'll show you.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Beautiful. I'm glad I shared that with you. I've
Yeah,
shared it with a limited amount of people, a couple of times on this show and a couple of others. I haven't like gone on top of Mount Everest and shared the story, but there's a certain people have said that I operate, a number of people, expert in the area, not myself, but that I operate from a higher consciousness, that I'm intuitive and I'm a high level empath.
Oh, you know that. You know that. And there's a book in there, by the way.
That's what everybody keeps saying. Yeah.
Well, okay. So if everybody keeps saying it, you're saying it to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So seize the moment, I mean, those of us that have followers who trust us to tell the truth, I believe have a duty, a privilege to get out and move people and tell them the truth of what we know. I just finished my 6th book, which is very different from my other books, but it's all channeled, and it is literally about the simple steps of creation and how to create. And guys, it's so much simpler than you would ever know. But we have convinced ourselves that it's hard, it's elusive, it's something we can't understand. It's the enigma of creation, right? Only God knows. Well, you are the God of you. And you do know. And as soon as you define yourself that way, your knowing expands and expands and expands. And it's like you live in the information field, is the only way I can define it. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And when you fall out of that knowing and that connection that you know, you feel yucky. You feel like you're lost. And you are, because you've left your knowing because of the fear of living on the 3-dimensional world. But you all know, I can tell you right now, you all know. And if you want to start knowing more, get up every day and go, today I know. I am directing myself to know. Because you are the only ones that direct your energy through your thoughts and your belief systems. Mm-hmm. If you want to enlarge yourself out of your limitations, start believing what you want to believe instead of the limitations that somebody taught you. Because you really are the God of you.
You're the God of you. I love that. Yeah. That is first time I've heard that said that way. That is very beautiful, Dee. Really.
Thank you.
Really, really beautiful. It's very inspiring, gang, isn't it? Absolutely. I told you Dee Wallace was going to be inspiring. and then there's this. Talk about segues, huh?
Well, now the whole The whole message of that film,
Yeah,
okay, was to honor the truthfulness within you,
that's right.
okay, and to know that you have the power over yourself.
Exactly.
So even in all my horror films, over all the years, little did I know that I was teaching what I would be teaching today. Oh, that's one of my newer ones.
Yeah, tell us about this one. This is cool.
Well, we just did it. I'm not
Yeah.
even sure where it's. Oh, it's available on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and um, well, it takes my character from Critters, but I think they had a problem with the rights or something.
Yeah.
So it's an entirely different name than I had in the original Critters. And I have become literally a bounty hunter to go after all these bad little guys.
Mm,
But even in this, there are positive messages,
right.
right?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I always look for
The positive. Absolutely.
and back to the howling.
Ah.
I love that moment from
I love
CUJO.
I
That's
I love
Louis
your
Teague.
reactions. Your reactions are so
That's
fantastic.
Louis Teague and our beloved stuntman and me. And I said, "Oh, guys,
Oh
come
my God.
on, let's
Yeah.
do a kick line. We just have to
I was gonna
loosen
say
this up a
you
little
should have been a Rockette.
bit." Well, I started out as a dancer,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
oh gosh, that was one of the few really light moments on that set. Yeah.
That is incredible. And you gotta have, you gotta have levity. You gotta have the opposite just to get through the long hours. And here's when you mentioned 10, right?
No, that's actually the howling.
Oh, this
That's
one is. Oh,
that's the
yeah.
end of the howling
That's
right
right.
before I turn.
That's right.
Yep. You
Yeah.
gotta love that 80s hair, huh?
What was it like working on that? Mm.
On the howling?
Were you ever scared by the movies you've been in? Somebody asked that too. Were you ever did Was a movie ever so intense, the storyline, just the subject matter, whatever, that it was hard then detaching from the character, or not that it haunted you, but it stayed with you a lot longer?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Early in my career, that's the way I worked. And I didn't really understand how much I was taking the character on until my mother, one Christmas, we were talking about how I was learning to let go of my characters. And she, just a minute, Dee Dee. And she went back and got two letters that I had written to her when I did the movie 10. I didn't write them. Mary Lewis wrote them. And I was reading them and I went, "Oh my God, Mom, my character wrote these letters." She went, "I know." And I was just waiting until you realized how far you became your characters before I showed you these letters that you wrote to me. It took me a while because the technique I learned is really um, to walk out of me and walk into them. And that's one of the reasons I totally blew my adrenals in CUJO.
yeah.
But it is true also that your body doesn't understand what's real and imaginary. So if you are going through fight or flight, your body's going to take a hit.
Yeah.
And I'm still on adrenal supplements today
As
after
a,
CUJO.
as a result from that experience. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really took it all in. Absolutely. We've got another. This is something more recent too, right?
Oh, dear. Oh,
Ah,
yeah.
yeah. That's near and dear to your heart, right?
Yeah. Just Add Magic. Um, that was a real gift to me. It was during the time when my daughter was planning her wedding, and we had an amazing wedding. And a year later, having a very hurtful divorce.
Yeah.
And I was doing Just Add Magic through all of it. And so it supported me certainly financially in a lot of the things I had to do, like throwing weddings, but also spiritually and emotionally.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful show. I'm incredibly proud
Mm,
to be a part of that show.
that is fantastic. There's another one too.
Uh-oh.
Red Christmas.
I love this movie. I love this movie.
You got to bottle that laugh and sell it.
I I went to Australia to do this movie, and it was crazy. I had so many challenges doing this movie, but I loved working with all the people down under, and I'm very proud of this little Christmas horror movie.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's really a crazy little movie.
Mm,
And if you haven't seen it and you like my horror, go rent it, guys. You
go
won't be
rent it.
disappointed. Yeah.
Marty Thompson is from Australia originally. He lives in Nashville. He's an entertainer. He says, Anthony LaPaglia was an Aussie from my hometown in Adelaide who I went to school with. What was it like working with him on an episode of Without a Trace?
Oh my God, he was wonderful. He was just wonderful. And that was very early, really, in my career that I did that. So the kinder people were to me, of course, the easier it was some people don't understand. Sometimes it can be really awkward and hard being a guest star on a show because everybody's got their rhythm, everybody knows their relationships with each other, and then you're kind of thrown in like the extra domino, you know. And he was extremely kind to me. All the cast on that particular show, very, very kind to me. So wow, trip
Great
down memory lane there.
trip down memory lane. Here's another cool shot.
Oh my. Where did you get that?
I tell you. I love your facial expression too.
Well, I was hysterical
Yes.
during this scene.
Yeah.
I mean, really hysterical.
Tell us about this one.
And
Yeah. For the
well, yeah, and oh my gosh, I'm like back in that moment.
viewers. Isn't that amazing how that happens? Yeah.
Yeah,
You get
well,
transported.
we didn't do it very, very long ago. So I asked the director, I said, how far can I go? Can I let it rip? And she said, absolutely.
Mm.
So I did. And, when I saw it,
Hmm.
they cut away a lot. I think maybe
Yeah.
when they actually saw it,
Yeah.
they went, whoa, this is a lot for this show,
Right. Right.
Um, but
Yeah.
it was a beautiful experience.
Yeah. Very intense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
intense. The whole shoot was very intense.
Mm. Another great shot here too.
Now, what is that from?
Look at your smile too.
Is that Gabrielle and me?
Yes.
Oh, that's her.
When you look
Oh,
at her, you just see the love in your eyes when you, well,
yeah,
when you look at each other, but just when you look at her, it's like,
yeah.
you know?
Even when I think about her,
Uh,
she's my light, and I'm so proud of her. She was directing me
Yeah.
in her short film and just did an amazing, amazing job. And I was playing a lawyer, which I'm not terribly comfortable playing,
Yeah.
because everything has to be like here.
Right.
And I'm used to
Stoic.
going, "Bleh," with everything. But it was just a great experience. And she just blew my mind how good she was directing that short, and how she handled me and handled so many people on
Mm,
that set.
yeah. Yeah. Ab-
Beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. And I love this shot of you too, you know. Um, it's
Well,
just you're so comfortable and you know all that you've done and all that you are right there. There's just something about that shot, like, you know, blessed, you know, life well lived. I've been through it. Experienced the ups, the downs, the wounds, the scars, the joys, the blessings, and here I am. I'm still D. Come on over and let's have coffee. You
yeah,
know,
that's
it's just such a great, you know, expression and shot and comfy and all of that.
thank you for that. And I am all those things you said. I'm happy and proud to say I am. I've seen it all, I've done it all, I've been through it all, both personally and professionally. And um, I'm pretty proud of how I've survived and who I am and what I've created. And, I just want to say to all of everybody out there, let's just keep creating till we drop. Because really, what's it about if we don't?
That's
Right?
right. That's
You just
right.
have to keep creating and go, what do I want to do now? Excites me now? Who do I want to love now? Right?
Right. What are some of the things that continue to bring you great blessing and joy in your life? And as Linda says, I'm enjoying your stories and photos. Marty says that was a very disarming shot. Great photos, great pictures, Dee. Some of the things, I mean, I really love this other part of you that you're sharing with the world, the healing and the empowering side of you that has always been there, but is front and center right on your sleeve. It's such a beautiful thing that you're doing. I'm sure that gives you great blessing and joy. But what are some
Oh
other
my God.
things that
Oh,
do?
my kid. My
Yeah,
kid is, you know, I waited for 6 years. Everybody told me I wouldn't have her. I said, you know what? God and I have a different plan.
right.
It took me 6 years, but she's beautiful. She's successful. She's kind. She's loving. I'm getting all kerflumped talking about my kids. See?
What a great word that is, too. Haven't heard that one in a while.
Uh,
Yeah.
I think that's from a Jewish boyfriend I had in New
Yeah.
York. Did
Yeah.
I say it right? Kerflumped?
Verklempt or something like that.
Yeah, you don't know either.
You got the gist of it. You got the gist. Verklempt or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something like pretty close to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I have no idea what the original question was.
That was a good way of saying that word for the Methodist girl, right?
I'm a good Methodist girl. Yeah. And you can take the girl out of Kansas, but you
But you
can't
can't
take
take the
Kansas
cake.
out of the girl.
We were on a TV shoot in Wichita 2 years ago, and we went to this really cool diner, and it was called the Do Da Diner, and it
Yeah.
was really, really interesting because we were done with the shoot, and everybody said in the morning when you leave the hotel before you fly back east from Wichita, you have to go to the Do Da Diner. It's like the place in Wichita. Anybody who comes through town stops and has a meal at the Do Da Diner. And
Do
there's this
that, do doodah.
Doodah, doodah. And then there's this like wall of fame of people who've come through the Doodah Diner. And it was really, really funny because the camera guy and I were sitting having our breakfast. And all of a sudden we saw all these women coming in dressed to the nines. Now, this was about 9:30 in the morning, and they were dressed to the nines. They were ready to go. So they're all filing in, and they're putting all the tables together in the middle of the diner in Wichita. And they all assemble, and they're ordering breakfast and coffee and laughing, but they're all dressed to the nines. So I said to the waitress that come over, I said, is there something special happening? I said, you know, are they doing a shoot here or something? I said, everybody's dressed to the nines, the women, especially in the center. They put all these tables together in the middle of the diner. They said, no, not at all. They're here every single day. They think that they are the Real Housewives of Wichita. So they come and they meet and they gossip about the neighbors and the husbands and everything. And they get all dressed up and they're all ready to go. And they have breakfast here at the diner.
I love them. I love them. Why not?
That's right. Exactly.
You know, I'm from Kansas.
Yes.
That's Kansas right there.
Somebody wanted to know the month you were born, the time of year, because
December. I'm a Sag.
Yes, that's what I think what they had guessed. Yes.
Yeah.
Juanita, who's in South Africa, actually just shared this with us. She said, I struggled 5 years to get my little Gabriella. Hope she grows up as great as your daughter.
Oh, you just love her unconditionally and let her know how special she is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she will.
And Marty, of course, says, click your heels 3 times and say, there's no place like home. And yep. Kathleen says, Dee, thank you for sharing your wonderful stories with us. You're a true lovety. This has been a treat. Such a fan. You really are a delight. You're a beautiful, I've always known it, but you're a beautiful person inside and out. And what I think is wonderful about, you know, what we've done here on this episode is people admire you so much for the work and your talent and everything they've seen, box office and television and everything else. Now they had a really good understanding of who Dee behind all those personalities and those characters and those roles really is, and that you're a very heart-centric, loving, spirited person who's here to really leave the world and leave the room. I always say I like to leave the room better than I found it. And that's why you are here. And you're doing that beautifully, Dee.
You touch more lives than you will ever know, guys. You know, make sure you spread the love, because ultimately when everything else is done, that's what's left.
Yeah.
The love.
Absolutely. Anne in Florida says, thank you, Dee, for such an awesome evening. Maureen in Arizona says, Dee, your inner beauty and gracious spirit are true gifts to the world.
Oh.
And Love Celtic Woman says, thanks. Yes, Sagittarius. I should have known that. Dee, one of her best friends in Utah, Sagittarius, passed away from COVID last year. Which that's been a tough thing, COVID as well. So much.
You know, but I want to interject something here. Nobody leaves without choice. Not that we can ever understand that or accept it even. But I know unconditionally from talking to so many people through my channeling work on the other side, nobody leaves without choice. And everyone is peaceful with the choice they make, whether they're a day or 101. So just know that wherever your loved ones are, they are at peace and they are happy, and they are always with us, even though in embodiment they chose to leave. I know this unconditionally, guys. I've talked to so many people on the other side. I want to give you that peace tonight, to know that everybody's happy and free, and probably wondering what the hell you're doing in your life right now.
I love that. I
Yeah,
love
well,
that.
that's me.
Kathleen is giving you 3 prayers.
Oh,
She had just lost her mother only about 2 months ago, and her father's
oh,
already gone. So she's in New York, and she's still struggling
oh.
with the loss of her mom, who she was very, very close to.
Kathleen, let me just have a moment with you and just feel them right here, sweetheart, because they're so, so with you. They are with you all the time. You just have to call and open yourselves up to feel it. They're guiding you. They'll give you messages, and it's all safe. It's all safe as long as you call everything in through divine love, guys. Everything's safe. So just know that they're always there, always.
Irish 43 says, so very true, Dee. And Kathleen says, that's good to know. We all need peace and love. And
Yes.
Maureen says, by the way, Dee, is it Rosie or Rose said to tell you hello? Do you remember him? Roze.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, he directed me and my daughter. Oh, give him my love, please.
See, it's a small world, isn't it?
Very small world.
It really is. And, I could see what Marty's talking about a little bit here. Dee, you're a lovely lovely, yes. And you remind me of a Princess Grace-like presence about you.
Oh, wow.
There
Thank you.
is, there is that.
I'm
There is
really
that.
humbled. I've never gotten that one
Very,
before. Shirley
Kathy,
MacLaine, I get a lot.
Shirley.
But thank you for that. Gratefully received.
And the mom and ET too. Dee,
Indeed.
this has been so much fun tonight. You're a fabulous person. Kathy Short in Cleveland, Gary in Iowa. Thank you, Dee, for spending your evening with us. This has been very enjoyable. Amy, who's a beautiful poet in the South, she says, what a wonderful episode. Mary Bishop says, this was wonderful, Dee. You're such a beautiful lady. Thank you for sharing. Juanita, and Mary's in Florida, Juanita in South Africa. This was a fantastic episode. Really enjoyed the stories, your laughter and inspiration, Dee. Keep well and come visit us again soon.
Thank
Um,
you all for your love so
all
much.
of our lovities here. Maureen said that the director, Rose, or Z-E, is it Rosie? Rose, is that how you say it? Is her son-in-law.
Oh,
Maureen's son-in-law. Small
well,
world, huh?
I'm proud.
That's it. That's it. And Kathleen says, wow, thank you, Dee, and gives you triple hearts for when you were just talking to Kathleen about the loss of her mother.
Thank
Um,
you.
I have, in my years on television and radio, I have interviewed, and interviewing is just one hat I wear, but I've interviewed or conversed. I don't even call them interviews. These are not interviews. These are conversations.
Yeah,
Interviews are
sure.
question, answer, show me the book and out. And I'm so not like that. I'm much more of a conversationalist.
I love it.
I've I've had conversations in my professional work on television, radio over the years, and this show of about 6,000 people. And you are one of my favorites in over
Oh,
6,000 people that I've ever,
aren't you
you,
sweet?
you
Thank you.
you are absolutely an amazing person, Dee. I've already, had, you're already beloved to me, but you've just exceeded anything I could have imagined just by having this conversation with you tonight.
Oh, thank you.
Ah,
I receive that and I send love back. Thank you so much.
the pleasure is all mine. I hope the show met whatever expectations you had and that you
Way
enjoyed the time.
beyond, way beyond. And just everybody, go be love. Talk love, be love, spread love, because really, that's really all there is.
Absolutely. Mona says, I agree, Dee, about people choosing to be here. Thanks for saying that, Dee. Makes it easier for me. God bless you, Dee. Yes,
Mm.
Jim D is so wonderful to be here. And that is Love Celtic Woman, Chris B, that said that. And Mona says, was so nice to meet you. Beautiful inside and out. You look amazing, truly enjoyable. Maureen says, very proud and thank you. Marty says, Jim, you're a master of conversation. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yes,
Um,
I agree, Tim.
Thank you, Dee. I hope we get a chance one of these days to meet in person, whether I'm out on a TV shoot out west or you're back east. I'd love
Give
to
me a
break bread.
ringy dingy.
I would love to do that. I would absolutely love to do that. You are truly amazing and a real source of inspiration, love and light and levity. And I really hope you enjoy the time with me as much as I have with you.
It's been just an absolutely wonderful, inspiring, and fun, and sometimes irreverent. And I love it. That's all those things I am.
That's
So,
all those things you are. And you know who also was with us tonight that enjoyed himself immensely?
who?
George Burns.
Georgie.
Georgie, there he is. He
I
sends
love
his love.
I love George Burns.
He played
We,
God, remember, in the movie?
yes, I remember. I love those movies.
He was amazing. Dee, you're amazing. Thank you very much for all the time and for sharing this wonderful evening with us. We will keep the porch light on for you. You are truly welcome back anytime. And again, I hope we do get a chance to break bread in person. That would be a real pleasure.
Ringy dingy.
Ringy dingy. Take care, Dee. Go
Thank
stretch those legs now.
so much love to all of you out there, and love yourselves and love yourselves and love yourselves. Good night.
Good night, Dee. Love you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
The incomparable Dee Wallace here on the Jim Masters Show Live. Did you not enjoy that, gang? If you want to see this again, you can on our YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV. All of the episodes we've done, wow, over 400 episodes of our entertainment lifestyle talk show series, where we are truly bringing back the lost art of conversation and the old school talk show way with a modern vibe and modern twist of today. What I loved was the fact that we got a chance to really explore a lot of different areas with Dee, not just the usual, which always is the prolific and the phenomenal television and film career, but the essence of who Dee is. And isn't that amazing? I think that's something special and rare about what we've created here on the Jim Masters Show Live. Again, I've hosted so many shows and I've done so many things on networks and stations and productions and in my career, but this show that we've created here is something really, really cool and very special. Kathleen says to Dee, beautiful lady, bless you. And Maureen says, Dee, it has been such a pleasure having you in Levity Hall this evening. Jim, you knocked this conversation out of the park. Thank you very much, Maureen. I appreciate that. Love Celtic Woman, Chris B. Excellent show, Jim. You're so good at these talks. Love having Dee here. And by Dee, I agree. Mona says, was so nice meeting you. Beautiful inside and out. You look amazing, truly enjoyable. I agree. And here you go right here. Like I said, blessed, happy, has seen it all, has lived it all, and shares it openly with the world, which again is really a rare thing these days. It really is a rare thing. No facade. She's Dee. She was Dee in Kansas. She's Dee in Hollywood. She's Dee tonight. And I think that's a really cool thing. And of course, the love of her life, her beautiful daughter. Didn't you just love her facial expressions and how her voice elevated when we talked about her daughter and the love? You can see it there. And here she is where she's directing her too. All of these incredible, we just scratched the surface, folks, of her wonderful life and her wonderful career. This is just really just a little bit. Of course, there's The Howling, which we talked about, which she starred in as well. And of course, the beloved E.T. That is still, an iconic American film. The Hills Have Eyes. I mean, what it is, I think, about Dee too, is Dee is Dee. In all of these roles, what comes out is really, you know, whether it's comedic, whether it's dramatic, whether it's heartwarming, the essence of who she is comes through. And I think that's why, she sang Happy Birthday with Hal Prince. I think that's why all of these, Steven Spielberg said, "You're it," with E.T. and Stephen King with his productions. I just think they love the fact that she's authentic, and don't mess with her either. And she's real and she's authentic, and you got a chance to explore that a little bit with us here on our journey. And it was really cool sharing that Death Valley story once again here on the show and with all of you. I know you guys said I should write a book. Your loving beauty shines through, Dee. I agree, gang. You are so right. Linda in Florida. You knocked it out of the park again. So looking forward to being on your show in June. Thank you, Marty. I appreciate that. And Jim, with all the horror movies Dee has done, I'm surprised that Casper didn't say hello. Yeah, Casper is right back there next to Gilligan. We had Dreama Denver on the show, another dear friend, Dreama Denver, the wife of Bob Denver, who played Gilligan. Dreama's a dear friend, and she was on twice. She wrote a wonderful children's book. She's got that new book out, Gilligan's Dreams, about her life and love with Bob. And she sent this in. She said, "Jim, I want you to have a Gilligan." So Gilligan's there. The I, Jimmy Genie bottle's there. Silver, when I was on a TV shoot in Europe, the Silver Lab. Then there's Jimmy the Clown when I was a kid. There's Casper. That's about 25 years old. A dear friend collected that and said, "I want that on the set." There's Gilligan. Just some fun things here to put smiles on your face. Juanita says, "Wow, Jim, Dee definitely lifted the bar here. She is lovely and you were fantastic." Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It was a great show. I need to learn how to channel. Ooh, that is great. You should learn how to do that. It's a beautiful thing. That was amazing. Thank you, Jim. Thanks to Dee. I hope that made you feel good. Wasn't that a beautiful thing that Dee did? Talking to you directly, Kathleen, and comforting you in the way that she did. And she did it. She doesn't even know it's your birthday weekend. How ironic. This is your birthday weekend. And you got some love from somebody that you've always admired, Kathleen Dee Wallace. So you're going to sleep well tonight, I am sure. And from the heart, that was from the heart with Dee. Thank you, Jim, for a fabulous evening. Dee was a great guest. I enjoyed her conversation so much. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow. Absolutely, gang. You guys are truly the best. And I want to let you know we have live from Ireland, wonderful Ava. She was originally with Celtic Woman, and she's in Ireland, a beautiful Irish singer-songwriter. She's going to be joining us tomorrow at a special time. We usually do 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. She's going to be with us at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. Coming real soon, too, is our wonderful friend Patrick McEnroe, wonderful tennis star, ESPN tennis commentator, of course, brother of John McEnroe, another tennis legend. He'll be joining us real soon. And from Celtic Woman, the wonderful Irish singer and songwriter and vocalist, the magnificent, I interviewed her many times on PBS. Lisa Kelly is going to be with us. If you missed today's episode, we did a special show at 3 p.m. Eastern with Dr. Barbara Milton, who has struggled with cancer. She was very open about that, but also at the same time, she wrote this wonderful book, Heeding the Caregiver Call, about her relationship with her mother and how she dealt with Alzheimer's with her mother and cared for her mother, even though her mother, was a strained relationship. Dr. Milton, dear friend of mine, I call her Barbara. She was on at 3. If you missed that show, really was a beautiful episode today at 3 p.m. Eastern, New Pacific. You can see it on a YouTube channel. Ryan Kelly is going to be with us as well from of course, Celtic Thunder. Nathan Pacheco is a wonderful singer-songwriter of Brazilian background. I interviewed him on PBS. He's going to be with us as well. And of course, we thank our very special guest tonight, the one and only Hollywood legend, not only a terrific actress, television and film, hundreds of commercials, so many movies, so many TV shows, healer, speaker, author as well, the beautiful inside and out. Dee Wallace tonight for you on the Jim Masters Show Live. We do our shows a little bit differently here, I would say. They're not just chats. They're not just quick interviews. There's something special about what happens here on the Jim Masters Show Live. Every time we turn on the lights, it's a little bit different than what you see on the internet. It's even a little bit different than what you see on television, sort of bringing back the old school way. We'd love it if you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That would be magic if you did that. And share the link. And be sure, of course, as well, not only to share the YouTube channel, but click that notification bell so you don't miss any of our amazing content on the YouTube channel. We are really building it up with so many incredible episodes of our series. And again, you can find us 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific live nightly right here on our YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV. Don't forget there's a new book that's coming out that Dee has, but there is this wonderful book that we talked about from Dee Wallace, Bright Light, Spiritual Lessons from a Life in Acting. I think you'll love that. You can find it online and Amazon and everywhere else. And again, we really thank Dee Wallace for joining us on the show. It was really a blessing to have her. Let's take a look at some of these comments. We'll be here tomorrow with a special show. Again, our show is 3 p.m. Eastern. It's an early show tomorrow because our guest is in Ireland. So we want to make sure that her fans and followers and family watching in the UK and in Ireland can watch tomorrow and comment as well. Thank you, Dee, sharing your life stories. Really hope you enjoyed listening to them. You're a very graceful actress. You've enjoyed listening to them. Absolutely. Now you'll have to get E.T. for your daughter to watch. Yes, I remember seeing E.T. in the theater, and she played the mom. Yeah, she was in so many movies. If you didn't see the episode we did with Suze Lanier Bramlett, who played her sister in The Hills Have Eyes, go back in time in the archives on our YouTube channel. Suze was here on the show as a guest. Thank you, Jim. Have a great night. Lovely hugs. Good night. All stay safe. You as well. Oh, Jim, looking forward to Celtic Woman Ava Sunday. That's right. Also looking forward to the original Celtic Woman lady, Lisa Kelly. Really looking forward to Lisa Kelly being on. And Ryan Kelly is also coming on the 18th, a week from this Sunday. Ryan Kelly from Celtic Thunder is returning to the Jim Masters Show Live. This will be his second visit. Neil Byrne was also on just a couple of weeks ago, and we had an epic conversation with him as well. Ava from Celtic Woman will be here tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. Then on Monday, we've got an amazing show. We've got an incredible group, the Name Droppers. They're very, very popular. They're going to be with us Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. They're going to perform live. We've got all kinds of great stories and music for you on the Jim Masters Show Live, and that's going to be coming up as well. So we really, really look forward to that. As we always say, don't forget to smile, gang, and share the smile with the world. Don't forget to share the levity. We've been talking about that a lot. Again, that's a word that I just happened to stumble on. And it's been really history ever since we came up with that word, levity, when I was saying light, love, and levity just a little too fast. Find your Zen place. The desert, I told you about the Death Valley story and how impactful that was for me about a year and a half or so ago when I was on that television shoot. And I really loved and appreciated how Dee was really taken by my sharing of that story in Death Valley. The ocean is my Zen place. The ocean is my go-to place. Swimming, surfing, boogie boarding, sailing in it, walking it. Just love the rhythm and tide and feel of the ocean. It's beautiful. It breathes life. It's always there. It's one of those constants in life we talk about, you know, when things happen like what's happened over the last year, where it seems like life's spinning out of control. Go to those things that are constant: the ocean, nature, the sun setting, your family. Bake some bread, you know, sit on a park bench, garden, go out and play some tennis, whatever it is that, listen to music. Definitely listen to music. Watch reruns of I Love Lucy and Dick Van Dyke like we are. You know, watch old movies. Bring out all of Dee Wallace's movies, although some of them might scare you. But have a good time. You know what I mean? Get nostalgic. She's just amazing, Dee Wallace. We love her. So the other thing, of course, that brings me great light and joy is my career in television and radio and stage, on air, behind the scenes, and everywhere else. So do what you love what you do, and share it with the world. This was really an epic episode. And we always say, don't forget to relax, love one another, and love yourself. As we say here on the Jim Masters Show Live, everybody's welcome to the party here, regardless of your political views, religious views, zip code, income, weight, height, eye color, it doesn't matter. Anytime we turn on the lights and we're here with the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series, you are welcome to join us as a lovity. And spread the word. Continue sharing the YouTube channel. Keep following us on Facebook at Jim Masters TV. Don't forget to relax. Sometimes I got to remind myself to do that too. We also started a new Facebook group for the Jim Masters Show Live, Lovity Hall. So you can go to JMS Live Lovity Hall on Facebook, and we have a new YouTube interactive group. And you guys have been really busy in that Facebook group. I love it. Yeah, you asked me for a long time to put a group together, and we did. It's called JMS Live Lovity Hall, and it's there for you to enjoy. And I pop in every once in a while, say hello, and we interact. So check it out. It's on Facebook. It's our new Facebook group for JMS Live. It's called JMS Live Lovity Hall. We just made the group 2 days ago, I think. And it's there for you guys to enjoy, just for you. And my Facebook page is Jim Masters TV. So is Instagram and Twitter, all at Jim Masters TV. You're welcome to follow and like and enjoy that. And of course, YouTube is where the home is to the Jim Masters Show Live. Definitely subscribe, and we promise more light, love, and levity coming your way. Maureen says, good night, Jim, and lovities everywhere. May your dreams be sweet. Mwah. Right back at you, my friend. Smile and give your face a rest. I like that. And the voice too, Marty. And good night, Mr. Levity. Good night, lovities. Love you all. Hugs. You too. No night show tomorrow. That's right. So no show tomorrow night at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. We're doing it earlier tomorrow at 3 p.m. And Ava from Celtic Woman and this brilliant Irish singer-songwriter, she's going to perform live. We have great music. She's got a new CD out, and it's going to be fantastic. So we will be here tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. If you miss it, just go to our YouTube channel and you can binge all of the episodes of our Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. There you go right there. It's on the screen for you 24/7. Enjoy. Also, if you have a suggestion for guests, we always welcome that as well. We are booked all the way into June, which is really a blessing considering it's only April. So many people obviously wanting to come on the show, and I really, really appreciate that. It really is a beautiful thing, and it makes me want to continue doing this series for all of you and do it with pleasure. It's a heck of a lot of work behind the scenes to make it all happen, but I love it. And these shows are epic. I mean, 1 hour, 2 hour shows. Never thought these shows would be that long. We just have fun. JimMastersTV@gmail.com is the show's email address if you have guest suggestions as well. Also, if you would like to make a video sharing why you enjoy the Jim Masters Show Live, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. It could be just an MP4 video or a movie file, something on your phone, something on your laptop, your tablet, just you talking to your phone or camera. You can send it to us at JimMastersTV@gmail.com, and maybe we'll be able to include it in our anniversary show, which is coming up in early May. Early May is the 1-year anniversary of the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. So send us your videos. Send us, and again, it doesn't have to be fancy schmancy. You don't have to go out and get a new, get a tuxedo or a gown. You can just express to us why you enjoy the show. Many of our guests have, and more are. And we would love that. That's true levity. So make a video, send it our way. Send it to JimMastersTV@gmail.com. And maybe we'll play it on our special anniversary episode coming up in a matter of weeks when we celebrate the 1-year anniversary of our Entertainment Lifestyle Lovity Hall series here called JMS Live. Yes, keep spreading the word about the guests. Keep telling all your friends and family about our series to watch, to share, subscribe, and love. You guys are the best. We've got a great, great, great group of viewers and lovities that follow this show, and really touches me deeply that you guys are all here and that you really count on the show. I get such the letters that I get and the emails and the packages, and it's really touching. It's hard to even put in words, which is strange for me, being such a communication oriented person, and I've been doing this work for years of being a conversationalist. Um, it really moves my heart. The words that you're expressing, the private messages, the Instagram messages, the tweets, the Facebook messages. If I'm not on for any reason, if I get called away for a project or there's a family commitment and we're not on, you miss the show and you can't wait till we're back. And that means a great deal. It really, really does. So as long as you guys are here, we love you and we will continue presenting everything that we can, whether we have guests on or we take you on location or we do host chat shows or we did a couple pop-up shows recently. It's all here for you and for me and for us. So continue to enjoy the Jim Masters Show live, where it's levity is in the air and on the air. We're going to wrap up, gang. It's been a busy day. Marty says this show is something that Babette and I look forward to. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Marty and Babette. You guys are the best. You're a blessing that has come into my world as well, Marty and Babette. And hearts coming from Amy. Thank you, Amy. We love that. And again, you guys are the best. All of your friends back here all say goodnight. Jeannie and Jimmy and Silver and Casper and our turtle, the crystal turtle, Gilligan, Lynn on the other side. And Gary Troyer says, if you aren't here, we miss you, buddy. You're very, I think you were the one that said that, right? I'm very bingeable. I'm going to get a t-shirt that I am were you the one, somebody said that I was a bingeable lovity, a bingeable lovity. I think I'm going to get a shirt that says bingeable lovity. And I'm going to go stroll around town. I'm going to walk along the coast and I'm going to show that bingeable lovity. And people are going to think that's my first and last name. Your name is bingeable. You're Mr. Lovity. I thought you're Mr. Lovity. So your first name is bingeable. Oh, hello there, bingeable lovity. It sounds like a cartoon character, doesn't it? Bingeable lovity. Good evening. I'm bingeable lovity. But yeah, they're all there for your binging and your enjoyment. Gang, you're the best. We're going to wrap. We had 2 double Lovities shows today for your pleasure. If you missed the one earlier, give it a watch. Share that one with Dr. Barbara Milton. She really opened up about her life. She's a beautiful person. She's actually a dear friend. Barbara Milton and I met each other through Rain Pryor and Richard Pryor Jr., who are also dear friends of mine, son and daughter of Richard Pryor, the comedian. And we met when Richard and Rain were performing together in New York City at the Metropolitan Room, and Barbara was there, and we hit it off, and we stayed friends ever since. She opens up about her cancer treatment. She opens up about her relationship with her mother and how she cared for her mother during Alzheimer's treatment and understanding of the Alzheimer's situation. It was a great episode this afternoon and a beautiful episode with Dee Wallace tonight. All right, gang, our goodbyes are very epic. They're like the credits on a Hollywood movie from the 30s. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Irish 43. We will call you Bing. Bing or Binge? Bing. The bingeable Mr. Lovity. Isn't that funny? That sounds like a British comedy, doesn't it? Like a Britcom. And I am English on my father's and mother's side. I have English, Irish, Swedish, and French in me. And so I could go to the UK and say, good afternoon. I am the Mr. Masters, the bingeable Mr. Lovity. Can I have some tea and crumpets, please? Good stuff. Good stuff. You guys are the best. We're going to wrap. Take care. We love you all. Be well. Love one another and get some sleep. I'm going to have a little snack. We have some trifecta colored Trader Joe's fruit flavored popsicles in our freezer. And after all this talking, I am dying to refresh with one of those. So we're going to have that right now. And it's just been a beautiful day. My nephew said some beautiful words today. We were talking today. My nephew is a computer genius, and just love him. He's my nephew and my godson, my sister's son. He just said, Jim, just keep doing what you're doing. You are creating a treasure chest of legacy through all of your work in television and radio and everything I've done, and also with this show and this series. So just keep doing it and keep doing what you do. And I thought that was very beautiful. You can hear that from viewers and listeners. You can hear that from colleagues. But when you hear it from, your nephew and godson, it's extra special. Love Celtic Woman, Chris B. says, thanks for these excellent talks, Jim. I'll try to watch live show with Celtic Woman Ava. That's tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern. God bless you, Jim. Stay safe. You as well. You as well. Always a good time right here on the Jim Masters Show live, just for you. We're going to wrap. You have a good night. We love you all. You take care. And thanks for being with us in this episode. This is your host, Jim Masters. Thanking you for your time this time. Till next time on the Jim Masters Show live. Beautiful, right? Beautiful when your nephew says beautiful words like that. Absolutely. More like the Masters Marathon. I know. I should get paid by the word. Gang, we love you. We'll see you tomorrow if you're here, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. Another comment coming in. See you soon. I know you're on cloud 9, right? With Dee Wallace giving you those kind words. It's very beautiful of Dee to do that. You guys are the best. So this is the bingeable Mr. Lovity saying goodnight. We love you all here on the Jim Masters Show live, and we'll see you on the next one tomorrow or the one after that. Or you can just see me all night long and binge Mr. Lovity on YouTube. Good night, gang. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.